Right now, somewhere on Earth, a new Toyota rolls off a production line every 6 seconds. Every 6 seconds. Toyota is the largest car manufacturer on Earth, surpassing General Motors, Ford, Volkswagen, and every other car company in history in total vehicles produced. In 2023, Toyota sold 11.2 million vehicles across the world. 11 million cars in 1 year. Their market capitalization has crossed $300 billion, making them the most valuable car company on Earth. But here is what almost nobody knows. The man who started Toyota was not a car person. He was a loom maker, a man who built machines that weaved fabric. And when he tried to enter the car industry, the Japanese government told him directly, "Your country does not need you to build cars." He built them anyway. And what he built in a small wooden shed in Nagoya, Japan, became the most dominant automotive empire in human history. This is the untold story of Kiichiro Toyota, the rejected loom maker who built Toyota into a $300 billion empire. To understand Toyota, you first need to understand the world Kiichiro Toyota was born into: Japan. The country was racing to modernize after centuries of isolation, desperately trying to catch up with Western industrial powers that had a 100-year head start. Japanese factories were producing textiles, ceramics, and basic goods, but the machines that powered those factories, the engines, the automobiles, the industrial equipment, were almost entirely imported from America and Europe. The villain in this story was not a single competitor. It was an entire system designed to keep Japan dependent on foreign technology. Japanese officials believed their country could not and should not attempt to build its own automobile industry. The American and European car makers were simply too advanced, too established, and too powerful to compete against. Into this world was born Kiichiro Toyota, son of Sakichi Toyota, the most famous inventor in Japanese history. His father had invented the automatic loom, a machine that revolutionized Japan's textile industry and made the Toyota family wealthy and respected across the country. Kiichiro grew up watching his father build things that did not exist yet, and he decided he would do the same, but not with looms, with cars.
In 1929, Kiichiro's father, Sakichi, sold the patent rights to his automatic loom to a British company called Platt Brothers for £100,000. It was the largest patent sale in Japanese history at the time. Sakichi called his son into his study and told him something extraordinary. "Take this money, use it to build whatever you believe in most." Kiichiro chose automobiles. He traveled to America and Europe, spending months studying Ford and General Motors factories, studying every detail of how mass production worked, how engines were designed, and how assembly lines moved. When he returned to Japan, he had one goal: build a Japanese car. But here is where the story turns. The Japanese government did not want him to. Officials told Kiichiro directly that Japan's automobile industry was unnecessary. Ford and General Motors had already established factories in Japan. Japanese consumers were buying American cars. The government saw no reason to fund or support a domestic manufacturer that would simply fail against American competition. Even inside the Toyota company, his own board members resisted. They were making enormous profits from looms. Cars were an expensive, risky, unproven gamble. Kiichiro was told to stay in his lane. He did not listen. In 1933, using the money from his father's loom patent, Kiichiro secretly established an automobile division inside the Toyota Automatic Loom Works. He started with a staff of just 3 engineers. 3, against Ford, against General Motors, against the combined weight of the entire American automotive industry. Here is the crazy fact that nobody talks about. Kiichiro's first car was a copy. not inspired by, not similar to, an actual copy. His team purchased a Chevrolet, completely dismantled it piece by piece, studied every single component down to the molecular level, and then rebuilt the entire vehicle from scratch using Japanese materials and Japanese manufacturing processes. They called it the Model A1. It looked almost identical to the Chevrolet they had taken apart. Kiichiro was not embarrassed by this. He was strategic about it. He knew that before you could improve something, you had to completely understand it first. And here is the wait what moment that changed everything. When his engineers rebuilt the Chevrolet engine from scratch using Japanese steel, the Japanese version was actually stronger than the original. Not because American steel was inferior, but because in trying to replicate each component perfectly, his engineers had been forced to understand the physics behind every single part at a deeper level than the original designers had documented. The copy had accidentally become an improvement. It was the moment Kiichiro realized something that would define Toyota's philosophy for the next 100 years. The path to making something better always begins with understanding exactly why it works in the first place. In 1936, Toyota, now spelled with a T instead of a D because the new spelling took 8 brush strokes in Japanese, a lucky number, produced its first commercial vehicle. The Japanese government, seeing genuine progress, reversed their position and passed the Automobile Manufacturing Business Law, effectively protecting Toyota from American competition on Japanese soil. The company that the government had tried to stop was now being protected by the same government.
World War II almost destroyed everything Kiichiro had built. During the war, Toyota was ordered by the Japanese military to produce trucks for the war effort. Civilian car production was completely halted. When Japan surrendered in 1945, Toyota's factories were in ruins. Supply chains had collapsed. The Japanese economy was shattered. And then came the crisis that nearly finished Toyota completely. In 1949, Japan's post-war economic recovery stalled dramatically. Inflation exploded. Banks stopped lending. Consumer demand collapsed overnight. Toyota had 3,000 unsold vehicles sitting in their lots. Workers had not been paid in months. The company owed more than it was worth. Kiichiro Toyoda faced the most difficult decision of his life. To save Toyota from complete bankruptcy, he had to lay off 1,600 workers. In Japanese corporate culture, where a company's relationship with its employees is considered almost sacred, this was an act of profound personal shame. Kiichiro took full responsibility. In April 1950, he resigned as president of the company he had built from 3 engineers and a borrowed Chevrolet. He had given Toyota everything, and now he was walking away to save it. 18 months later, Kiichiro Toyoda died of a stroke. He was 57 years old. He never saw what came next. What came next was the most remarkable manufacturing revolution in the history of industry. In the 1950s, Toyota's new leadership, led by Taiichi Ohno, developed a manufacturing system that would eventually be studied in every business school on Earth: the Toyota Production System. Its core principles were radical for the time. Eliminate all waste. Produce only what is needed when it is needed. Stop the production line the moment a defect is detected, rather than fixing problems at the end. This system, later known globally as lean manufacturing, was so efficient that it allowed Toyota to produce cars of higher quality at lower cost than any American competitor. In 1957, Toyota exported its first cars to the United States. American dealers laughed. The early Toyotas were underpowered, uncomfortable, and struggled on American highways. Toyota went back to the drawing board. In 1965, they released the Toyota Corolla, a small, affordable, exceptionally reliable car designed specifically for the American market.
It became the best-selling car in the world. Not in Japan, not in Asia, in the world. The Corolla has now sold over 50 million units globally, more than any other car model in history. Then came the oil crisis of 1973. American gas prices exploded. Suddenly, Americans needed fuel-efficient cars urgently. Toyota had been building fuel-efficient cars for 20 years. While Ford and General Motors scrambled to redesign their enormous gas-guzzling vehicles, Toyota simply filled the orders. By 1980, Japan was exporting 2 million vehicles per year to the United States. American car makers demanded government protection. The damage was already done. Toyota had conquered the American market, while American manufacturers were still arguing about Japanese cars were a serious threat. Then, in 1997, Toyota launched something that rewrote the future of the entire automotive industry: the Prius, the world's first mass-produced hybrid electric vehicle. Ford, General Motors, and Volkswagen all said the technology was impractical and that consumers would never pay a premium for it. In 2023, Toyota sold 3.5 million electrified vehicles globally, more than any other manufacturer on Earth.
Here is what Kiichiro Toyota understood that every rejected, dismissed, and overlooked founder needs to hear. The people who tell you it cannot be done are usually the people who have the most to lose if you succeed. The Japanese government told him Japan did not need a domestic car industry. His own board told him to stay in looms. American car makers told him Japanese cars would never compete in America. Every single one of them was wrong. Because Kiichiro did not try to build a better car, he tried to build a better way of building cars. And that difference, that obsession with the process rather than just the product, created the Toyota production system that transformed global manufacturing forever. Today, Toyota builds one new car every 6 seconds. Every 6 seconds, somewhere on Earth, a machine built on the philosophy of a rejected loom maker moves off a production line. Kiichiro Toyota once said, "Before the machine, there must be the thought. Before the product, there must be the process." He thought differently, and the world has been driving his thinking ever since. That is the untold story of Toyota. Drop a comment below right now. Tell us which empire you want us to expose next on Untold Billionaires. The most requested name gets the next video. Your comment decides what we make next. Until next time.